Look at me. You want the attention. You don't want to be married to nobody. You don't have the capacity to be married to anybody because you're still all about yourself. So I received a message from a young woman, and basically what she was saying is that her best friend just got married and her cousin just got engaged, and she just can't understand what the heck is going on because neither of them are even as cute as her, and she's been on the market for so long, and then they both end up with rings before her. And this really bothered me because this is such a common trend amongst women that nobody wants to talk about. And if you don't believe me, go to anybody's page that you see where a woman is posed with a man or getting married and she's a little heavyset or even a lot heavyset, or she's not attractive as to what society says is attractive, right? Read those comments. You'll see women saying stuff like, oh, I just know it's somebody for me. Oh, what am I doing wrong? I can't believe this. Basically, it's not so subtle shade.
Ladies, is she telling the truth? Do you go on other women's profile and compare yourself to them? Let's be honest. And even if you don't want to be honest with me, just be honest with yourself. Are you the one on there throwing backhanded comments?
Because y'all are so ego driven that y'all really believe that just because you cute, you deserve to be somebody's wife. Y'all really believe that just because you cute, you deserve to be somebody's wife. Like, for real. Inside of your mind, that is the prerequisite to being a wife. Be cute.
This lady made a great point that ladies, just by being cute and pretty, does not qualify you to be a wife. And if you're the type that is going to measure your wife credentials on how cute you are, then eventually your credentials are going to expire because beauty fades. And if you're with a man that measures your wifely credentials on your beauty, then once those credentials expire, then he's only going to replace you.
And it baffles me because at the end of the day, if we're really going to get real with ourselves, ladies, y'all don't even want to be wives. You don't want to be a wife. No, you want to have a wedding. There's a big difference. You want to take pictures for the gram. You want to go on a honeymoon. You want to wear the ring. You want to look at me. You want the attention. You don't want to be married to nobody. You don't have the capacity to be married to anybody because you're still all about yourself. And you got the audacity to be looking your nose down at these other women when they have done the work that it takes to be ready to be a wife. Y'all don't want to be wives. Like, keep it 100 with yourself and it'll help you a lot. So at the end of the day, while you're looking your nose down at these women who have done the work, maybe you should stop asking what Sierra's prayer is and start figuring out how you can do the work so that you can be ready. Y'all don't like to talk about it, but let's really talk about it. Y'all out here asking for this Sierra's prayer and what prayer you could say to get your husband. But at the end of the day, did y'all ever stop and think that maybe God ain't blessing you with that husband because God knows who you really are? Did you ever stop and think that maybe God is not finna bless you with your worldly behind with this real man of God who wants to be a husband and wants to lead properly because he is actually connected to God? If you want to be a wife, you have to set yourself apart. You have to be selfless to be a wife. Y'all not ready for this conversation. So maybe instead of you looking your nose down at these other women, maybe you should start to do the faith and the works together. Faith without works is dead, right? Maybe you need to put faith and work together and work on yourself so that you can be prepared. You sitting here asking for a prayer, knowing good and well, the only time God hears from you is when you need something from him. You don't even have a relationship with God. You're not even anchored to him. And you wondering why God's not blessing you yet?
I do not see anywhere where I can disagree because why should God give you to a good man when you're not in the right place, ladies? I mean, you could end up mentally and emotionally and financially destroying a good man because so many of y'all are just fascinated with this whole falling in love, happily ever after, and the wedding. And what you fail to realize that that's a very, very small part a marriage. The marriage really don't start until you start going through the mundane, the boredism, the both parties have fell into this mode of comfortability. That's when the marriage really start. And a lot of time people go, well, you should do something to keep that spark. You're not going to do nothing to keep the spark going. What ends up happening is that the good marriage, the strong marriages, they push through that part. And on the other side, they end up falling back in love because they find other things to fall in love with about that person. That's what happened. So many of can't y'all can't push through the hard times. So by y'all doing this, falling in love and just so fascinated about this wedding and making it a me day, you fall yourself into an emotional trap, because eventually the tough times are going to uh, rear its ugly head. And all those red flags that you chose to ignore will eventually start to surface. If you have a man that looks the part but is lacking in every other category, then after the wedding is over, the euphoria has left, then ladies, it's going to be time for you to start fixing, because the only thing that he qualifies in is that he looked the part. That's it. But I can guarantee you this, most likely if you do go that route where you just pick a man just because he looked the part, then you at least gonna be stuck in that marriage for a year, and you at least gonna have to go through that, because I don't know too many women that want to have a wedding and then less than a year they divorce. I don't think you can even get divorced in less than a year. I mean, I guess annulment or whatever, but who wants to go through that? And mentally, that's not healthy for you anyway. And all it's gonna, and especially if you have children, all that's gonna do is create a new set of problems for you.